Hi, it's Dr. Davis. Welcome to the words of A. Davis Smith. Couple of key statistics I want to throw out. Once again, I mentioned earlier about some of the dangers associated with sex too soon, and sex with the wrong guy. The median age for Black women giving birth is 30. So the median age 30. 27.6% of all abortions are for or by Black women. Black women have 27.6 percentage of all abortions. 50% of Black women abort for an unintended pregnancy, and 70% of Black women having an abortion are not married. So once again, there's the pregnancies are occurring to women who don't have a husband, resulting in large numbers of abortions that are being had. Black women are the least likely group to use contraception. 83% of Black women use contraceptives. All other groups are between 90 and 91%. So once again, creating a greater likelihood of Black women being pregnant than any other group. Only 37% of Black women who gave birth were married versus 67% of all other women. 37% versus 67% of all women. The poverty rate for Black women is 24% versus 14% for all women. Once again, so Black women are more likely to be impoverished than all other groups of all women, all other group of women. So once again, these are things that there are financial repercussions to having unprotected sex. And so once again, um, I can't stress enough that once again being cautious about where and when, being cautious about when you give your body. And then to talk a little bit about poverty, kind of the consequences of deciding to have a child with a man that isn't your husband. And these are very serious also. Black women are head of household with family. Black women that are head of the household with a family and no spouse, so a woman and children, um, they make up 44% of all Black families, while Black men with children and no spouse are only 10.3%. So 44% of all families where there's no spouse, no male in the house, make up 44% of all Black households. 18.5% of all Black families live in poverty versus 9.3% of everyone else. So where Black folks are more likely to live in poverty. With kids under 18 years old, 26.7% of Black families live in poverty. So the number goes up to 26.7% when there are kids under 18 years old. Um, they live in family. 6.7% of Black married couples live in poverty, while 30.6% of females with no spouse live in poverty. And those with no spouse and kids under 18, the rate is 39.4. 39.4% of Black women who have kids and no spouse live in poverty. And so once again, talk about consequences of having children with a man that isn't your husband, the likelihood of living in poverty is so much greater. And then lastly, 74% of Black women households with no husband live at or below the poverty line. 74% of Black women households with no husband live at or below the poverty line. 16% of Black married couples live there, and 10% of Black men households. So Black women who have kids without a spouse, 74% of those households live below poverty. So once again, some sobering stats that I wanted to share about being selective about who you lay with, and being even more selective about whose child you carry. You should carry your children, your husband's kids. It just, the numbers just don't lie. All right, so enough of that. So I just wanted to provide some context and some data related to what I was talking about earlier. Once again, this is not to bash Black women. I'm merely providing the data to illustrate the significant impact that choice has on Black women as it relates to sex, and how devastating the consequences can be based on those decisions. Um, these choices not only affect a Black woman's day-to-day quality of life, but can also affect the children born from these choices and generations beyond that. Additionally, research shows that how a man perceives you sexually, once again, your level of promiscuity, how promiscuous you are, can impact whether he considers you as an appropriate for a long-term or short-term partner. So what that says is that, you know, how how soon you have sex can affect whether or not a man perceives you as wife material or jump off material. So choose, make the best choices for you, but choose carefully. So that's it for the preaching part from Dr. Davis. So some homework and some takeaways that I want to leave you with. A couple of things I think that are important. Make sure that you're making dating decisions and relationship decisions that are consistent with your financial means and moral status. Don't ever put yourself in a position or put yourself in financial or sexual jeopardy so that someone else can have a good time. Don't put yourself at risk financially or physically just for someone else's benefit. Once again, making sure that you're making good decisions about you, about and for you. Second one, invest your resources wisely. Once again, your financial or your physical resources, and in accordance with your current level in the relationship cycle. So making sure that whatever you're investing is aligned with where you are in the cycle. Don't waste resources on a person who hasn't yet shown you that they're worth the investment. They need to prove to you that they're worth whatever comes next. And so don't waste your goodies, money, sex, whatever it is, on someone who isn't worth it or haven't proven that they're worth it. Three, be willing to walk away at any point of the process from anyone who isn't compatible with what you need. You got to be bold enough and brave enough and say, I'd rather be damn alone. Karen White, I'd rather be alone. Walk away if the person isn't compatible with what you need, if they don't make sense on paper. Um, or if they seem more focused on what you can do for them than on actually getting to know you. So if their bigger concern is what can I get from you, money, sex, trip to Hawaii, whatever. If they're more concerned about that than getting to know you, you need to be out. They're not worth your time. They've shown that's the best it's going to get. Um, Also, be willing to walk away if anyone seems to not be putting in a sincere effort to get to know you. If they don't ask you a lot of questions, if they're really not spending time getting to vet you for compatibility, then they're going through the motions and they've got an ulterior motive at play. Once again, walk away, be out. That's a huge red flag. And then, kind of another thing I want to say is altogether, we need to stop focusing on this quid pro quo, this for that, trying to get something for something. Don't equate giving up something of value with your chances to get resources or sex. And so, too many people think about, you know, if I do this, I'll get this. And if I do this, I'll get that. You need to date with purpose, honor, and intention. Once again, making sure that you're dating for the right reasons. You're dating to vet this person to see whether or not there's a long term potential there. Some more homework and takeaways for the fellas. I want to say this. Too many of you think that the money that you spend results in a greater chance at getting sex. If you're that pressed to pay for sex, just get yourself a prostitute or an escort or whatever, and stop wasting these women's time. Stop getting in the way of the good men that really want to spend time and energy with them to get to know them. Stop treating women like vending machines where you think you can stick in cash and goodies come out. So fellas, just stop. To the ladies, too many of you think that I can I can hook him, I can get him, I can win him if I blow his mind sexually, or if I get pregnant, then he won't leave me. So there's this flawed thinking that, I'm either going to break his back and he'll never leave me, or if I get pregnant, I've got him trapped. I've got him. Please stop using your body and the birth of children to manipulate men into being with you or getting the things that you want. Please stop using your body in that particular way. Stop treating men like ATM machines where you can press the right buttons and cash comes flowing out. So once again, to the ladies, stop that. To everyone, I say, date with purpose and intention and stop wasting your time and their time. Once again, dating with purpose and intention. Um, I'll leave a cautionary note for men. Some women equate how much you spend on her during a date with how much you value her, or even how much she values herself. So there's in her mind, in some women's mind, the more you spend, the more you care, or the more you spend, um, the more you're attracted to me, or whatever it is. So they have this equation, or they feel better about themselves. Oh, girl, he spent $1,000 on dinner, and so I must be great. Um, Fellas, you got to avoid these women at all costs because they're more interested in your wallet than they are in getting to know you. So once again, that's why I talk about once again making sure that what you're spending is in alignment with where you are in a relationship cycle. Because there are women that are trying to take advantage, or they have this misunderstanding of what money equates to them as a person. I remember, for an example, for me, a woman actually asked me when we were kind of negotiating for the first date about where to go. She asked me when I said I wasn't taking her to Morton's for the first date. She said, "Aren't I worth taking to Morton's?" And my response was, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know you enough to make the determination. I know what I know now. The answer is no, and so the answer may be different 6 months from now. But as of today, I don't know you well enough to know whether or not you're worth Morton's, and that's the God honest truth. And she heard me, and we ended up going somewhere that was not Morton's. So once again, being upfront and honest about where we are in this whole thing called dating, and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do, and you take it or leave it, because I'm willing to take it or leave it. Another thing, if she starts Instagramming your date, you're at dinner, she pulls out the camera, she's taking pictures, she's streaming stuff. You should be worried because she seems to be more concerned about getting likes than in liking you. So if she's doing it for the gram, she's doing it for her girls, you should question about whether or not it's about getting to know you or about getting clicks. Just something I want to say to the fellas. We'll also leave a cautionary note for the women. Some men equate how many women they sleep with and how fast they can sleep with them with how much of a man they are. Very, very flawed mentality. But there are lots of guys that think that way, that the more I score or the faster I score, the more man that I am. And this just shows you how little they have to offer you in a relationship. They're of no real value to you if that's their mindset and that's where they're coming from. So please, once again, avoid these men at all costs, because they're more interested in what's under your skirt than what's in your head or what's in your heart, which is much more important. If he's constantly pressing you about Netflix and chill, you probably need to be out, because he's got sex on the mind and that's where he needs to be. And there probably, isn't going to be a lot of talking during Netflix and chill as he's trying to get you in the bed. So once again, those kind of dudes aren't worth your time. Don't even waste your time. Be out. Then I'll conclude, as I do sometimes, with some quotes for you to consider, things that I think that are funny but thoughtful or thought-provoking, I hope. Men will lose a lot of money chasing women, but won't lose a lot of women chasing money. So once again, focusing on, going to an earlier point, my mind on my money, my money on my mind. You once again, be intelligent with your resources. Another little side quote I say: keep your mind on your riches, baby. Keep your mind on your riches. Another quote I have is: you should never have to talk yourself into trusting someone, loving someone, or forgiving someone. Your first instinct about them is probably right. So if your instinct says run, run. Don't deal with a situation that you don't feel is the right one for you. This is for men and for women. And then lastly, the truth is everyone is going to hurt you. You just have to find the ones that are worth suffering for. And the great Bob Marley said that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you find it useful, thought-provoking. Hope it evokes conversations and gets us really to reconsider how we approach this relationship cycle thing, how we approach dating versus relationships. If you like what you heard in the video, please feel free to follow me. I encourage you and hope that you'll follow me. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Words of A. Davis Smith. You can also check out a lot of my stuff. Actually, all my stuff is contained on my website, www.wordsofadavissmith.com. Once again, thank you for your time and attention. Be on the lookout for more good material. God bless.